Taoiseach, it's all very well setting up a committee to deal with child poverty and welfare, but it has to do something. Now, you say you want to give children the best start in life. Absolutely. One of the things that guarantees they don't have a good start in life is if they're homeless or if they're facing the prospect of being homeless. And we now have 4,170 children who are in emergency accommodation, and the situation is getting worse every month. Now, you need to address that, and you need to recognise your government has failed to do so far. It's got worse every month. And I want to just point you to a few things that could help. Number one, we don't have enough 3 and 4 bedroom houses being bought or built by local authorities. In the Part 5 that's just coming up, in the new Part 5 in Shangana, all of the houses being bought, not Shangana the LDA development, this is a private development, but in the Part 5, all of the houses that are being got are apartments that are only 1 and 2 bedroom, even though there's loads of 3 and 4 bedrooms. Now, obviously, when you're talking about kids, they generally have 3 and 4 bed needs. The housing needs assessment doesn't take into account families that are on RAS and HAPS transfer lists, but many of them are families and children. When you're facing the possibility of eviction, you can't get the higher rate of homeless HAP until you're 8 weeks before you're facing eviction, even though many people know months and months in advance they're facing the prospect of being homeless. The local housing authorities won't do anything for you until you're 8 weeks out, and even then they'll say to you, basically, wait until you're homeless and then knock on our door, by which time the kids are thrown into homelessness. Right? That has to stop. There has to be a proactive and preventative approach to kids, particularly, I mean anybody, but especially kids and families going into homelessness. And at the moment, that's not what's happening. It's a bureaucratic approach, and it's not prioritising children and families.
Thanks very much to deputies for raising these issues. Look, on child homelessness, we have a real need to do more. It's interesting the point Deputy Boyd Barrett, made about 3 and 4 bedroom houses, because there's sometimes, I suppose this is the challenge with a housing crisis in general, I often meet people in my own constituency office looking for the 1 bed. So look, I think this is, if we're being honest and truthful, this is what happens when you have a deficit of social house building that we're really playing catch up on, though we have now seen the largest amount of social homes provided last year since the 1970s. But I do take the point about 3 and 4 bedroom houses, and I'll scratch the surface on that a little bit more. You have made the point, which I've passed on to the Department of Housing on a few times, about when someone can access the higher rate of HAP and why they're having to wait till they're nearly at the cliff edge before being able to access it. Your point sounds logical in relation to that, and I will pursue it again with the Department of Housing, because I did raise it after you raised it with me here previously. So let me take away the suggestions that I accept you make in good faith. Deputy Murphy, on the minimum essential standard of living report published today, I truthfully haven't yet read it, but I will. And look, we do want to make child poverty a priority. There's nobody in Ireland who wants to see a child in poverty. I don't believe there's anyone in this House, regardless of political ideology, that does too. And I accept there are political choices to be made, absolutely. I actually think one of the political choices to be made is universal versus targeted. And I discussed this at the Child Poverty and Wellbeing Summit in Dublin Castle recently, because there is absolutely a benefit to doing universal things. There's certain things I think we all just want to be universally provided for all children in Ireland, and I think the free school books is an example of that, the expansion of the hot school meals is an example of that. But I have to be honest, there's also a need to do more on the targeted side. And I listen to people like the Children's Rights Alliance on this recently, and I think they're talking a lot of sense on it, actually. So as we approach the next budget, yes, child poverty will be a priority, but I think we're going to have to make very targeted decisions in relation to child poverty, because we need to bring all children to that equal starting place in terms of their life. So I'm proud of a number of the things the government has done in this area. I could list them, but I won't in the interest of time. But I do think there's a need to look at more targeted measures for children in particular need as well. And Deputy America's point is similar in terms of those kind of wraparound enhanced supports that we do need in communities. And I hope, as we start to see the community safety partnerships develop and roll out as well, that they don't just become discussions about kind of criminal justice issues. They're not meant to be in terms of their membership, because what we're trying to do here is have a conversation about what can you do to create a better, safer, in every sense of the word, community. And that's why I think it's very important that the likes of family resource centres and others are plugged into that discussion.